Hey everybody, Tony with Shinsho Yoga, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about yoga and knee pain. So no postures this week. I want to talk a little bit about the body and some things you can do to help offset issues with your knees. So the video is not about yoga poses that maybe cause knee pain. It's about having knee pain and doing yoga, because one of the things that I have seen that can hold some people back from going into yoga is problems with the knees. And it was something that initially held me back, in that one of the things that I thought about yoga before I understood what it was, I'm like, well, I can't do things like that because I have problems with my knees. So in the plethora of other reasons that I didn't do yoga, that was one of them. So I want to talk a little bit today about the knee joint, right? The problems that I've had with it, and what I've done to help me in my practice. So first and foremost, I do have to say, though, I am not a doctor. I am not a knee specialist. I am not an orthopedist or anything like that, or a chiropractor. I am a yoga teacher, but I have had years of issues with my knees, and very few things ever helped them. So I had to work them out on my own, which in the end is what you have to do anyway, as no one has your answers, only you do. You just have to quiet the mind long enough to hear them. And again, that may sound crazy, saying, well, how am I going to quiet my own mind and hear what's the problem with my knee? Well, trust me, that's how it works. So I'm going to share with you today about the problems that I've had again, and what I can offer you to help offset them. So let's first talk a little bit about the knee and what it is. It is a balance joint. Okay, so you have the upper and the lower part of the leg that meet at the knee, where the knee, of course, bends. And there are multiple muscles and tendons and ligaments that attach to that keep that knee stable and keep it to be able to move properly. If there are issues with the muscles in the legs, it will affect how that knee works. And it can cause pain, and it can cause big imbalances. One of the biggest problems that I have run into throughout the years is an imbalance between the front of my leg and the back of my leg. So the quad versus the hamstring. For men, generally we have tight hamstrings. Generally, hips and hamstrings are a tightness among the majority of men, especially in the modern world. Not saying that women don't have that issue. They do, but women, I often can find, don't have the same degree. They have other issues that they run into body-wise. But for men, you're going to run into a lot of that. Being that the knee is a balanced joint, right, and that the knee itself has the muscles pulling in different directions to balance it, if you have one muscle that is stronger than the other, it will unbalance the knee, make it weak, and cause pain. Okay? So for me, unfortunately, my hamstrings are not as strong as my quadriceps. I used to do a lot of mountain biking when I was a younger man, and I always wondered why, when I was done biking, my legs hurt so much. It hurt so much to walk. I walked like Frankenstein, and I used to have these big, heavy quadriceps because I did so much biking. Well, biking primarily activates the front of the leg here. Also gets in to the calf back here, but really not the hamstring. So what that did is this front muscle pulls, right? It's strong, it's tightened, it's shortened. It's not lengthened, it's contracted and it's shortened, and it's pulling on the knee joint. The back of my leg is weak, right? It's not as strong as the front. It can't keep up. So what does it do? It tightens up, right? And that's how you end up with those tight muscles. Because in order to compensate for the strength of the front muscle, all right, that's pulling on it because it's in a shortened state, because that's what happens when we work those muscles out. It's not lengthened, it's shortened. The back one is weak. It basically spasms and pulls tight to balance the joint. And you end up with tightness in the legs, and you eventually end up with knee pain. Now, there can be multiple different ways you end up with knee pain. You could have taken an injury to the knee, right? You maybe been hit in the knee. Maybe, there are congenital diseases for it. Arthritis does get passed down. My family had arthritis. I have some arthritis in my knees, too. There are many things that can also contribute to problems in the knee, but the primary thing that I've seen as a yoga teacher, not only in my own practice but in others, is an imbalance in the muscles, and that is the primary issue with most things in the body, is an imbalance. So if we work to balance the muscles in our body, I'm going to focus on the knee, balancing the front and back muscles of the leg and also the side, inner and outer adductor and abductor, it can help with the stability of the knee and the pain with the knee. I know for me, before COVID, when I would go to the gym, I didn't work out like I used to when I was into bodybuilding at one point. I worked out to stabilize muscles. That's what I did. And I would often use hamstring machines to work on strengthening the back of my legs. And I can tell you, after every time I did, I walked better and my legs felt better. So the first thing you'll want to look at with knee pain and knee issues is, are the muscles of the leg balanced? Right? Is there a tension and tightness? Maybe my IT band on my right side is very tight. It adds to it and causes issues in my right knee particularly, right? But by looking into the balancing of the muscles in the leg can help you to remove the pain and improve your quality of life and improve your mobility, include flexibility, improve your strength. But how do we do that in the process? How do we do that and incorporate into our yoga? How can we, when we're in yoga and we want to come down onto our knees, and a lot of postures we do on our knees, whether we're doing cat and cow or child's pose, some of the more basic postures, and they hurt, or maybe coming down into Anjayasana, a low lunge, and that hurts. How do we resolve that? Right? How do we eliminate that pain or reduce that to help us in the process of fixing these problems? First thing and first, very simple, a blanket, right? A blanket in your practice you should always have when you go into your classes, because this will solve many problems with that. These Mexican blankets they use for yoga are actually quite dense, right? And they are actually give a lot of support and a lot of cushioning at the same time. I always grab a blanket in my practice, and whenever I'm coming down onto my knees, unless they're feeling particularly good that day, I am always going to put the blanket underneath my knees. This automatically takes the pressure off than usually the hard floor that you're working on, because unless you have a very thick mat, which again, if you've watched my video of mat reviews, I talk about the pros and cons of having a thick mat. This gives you the floor feel that you still need with your mat, but then when you go on your knees, offers extra cushioning. So whether it's here or coming to here in child's pose, or maybe you're up in puppy pose, wherever you are, this is going to offer a cushion in between, and you learn to make that work in your flow. I also use it in Virasana, Hero. So if I need to support myself, putting it here. Your blanket is unbelievably versatile and is an extremely important prop in your practice. So if you struggle with knee issues, as I do, whenever you go to your class, wherever you're taking it now, maybe you're live, maybe you're doing it via Zoom, maybe you have a home practice, blanket. That will offset a lot of the pressure that you get on your knees. Maybe you have to use two. But this will keep you practicing and keep you to move through. Maybe you have to move a little slower. But this will keep you practicing and help you with that problem. The other thing, I use padded compression knee pads when I practice, right? So these, I don't know the name of them, they've worn off, I've had them a while. They are a compression knee pad. And what that does is that holds the muscles together here in the knee. Sometimes the muscles can pop out, become loose. I have some tendon issues that have a tendency to pop out of the knee there. They get loose and stretched. This helps keep that all together. Additionally, there is this hexagonal foam pad in the front that not only stretches, it moves, it offers a good amount of cushioning. So if you don't have your blanket, or if you need more than the blanket, something like this can offer you a great amount of help in your practice, not only to help keep the knee joint stable, but also to pad you as you come down on your knees. These work very well for me. I have had no issues with them, and again, there's a big M on the front. I don't know who made them. I haven't been able to find them again, but they work very well. There are other styles of knee pads, such as this one. This one's a copper fit. I bought this to help stabilize the joint. It's tougher, and this doesn't work for me. Maybe it works for you. This style, I don't recommend. It's too tight on my leg. This holds, right, but also offers flexibility. Right? So these I like, this I don't. Depends on your body. So I don't want to go too much deeper into it because I wanted to make this more of a basic video for the legs. If you're having problems with the knees, you're going to have to work on balancing the legs for most people. Have a blanket to help you in your practice, and maybe look into some padded compression fittings for the knees to help you make it through the practice. And breathe and follow your breath. Any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. Be happy to answer. Thanks for watching. Namaste.